good morning. Welcome, guys. Welcome to the Technology TV Manipur. Today, we are going to discuss in details about the Arduino Uno R3. And Arduino Uno R3 is the latest versions available in the market, and you can buy from Amazon. I will share you the link in the description. Okay, today in this topic, we are going to discuss about the development in using the Arduino development board. That is first discussion. Second discussion, we are going to discuss on what are the components will be retained during the manufacturing. Okay, and the second is what is the application you can develop in this Arduino board, and what are the advantages of this Arduino board that we will be discussing on this, so in this video. So without further ado, let's go and see that in details about this Arduino boards. So let me open the page. So fine, here in this I have already marked all the important components require very important for the board. And this board has two input which has been connecting to the laptop for downloading the codings which you write in Arduino platform, and that is using this USB. So this USB port can be connected to computer. It may become a desktop or it can be laptop having that Arduino IDE. And this is a power supply. This power supply is optional in the sense is, if you are not depending the computer, then you can use additional power supply connect to this pin, and the USB can be disconnected. And if you are using a USB, then you don't require this 12 volt input is not required. But in case if you are using a 12 volt input, then this voltage regulator is mandatory, because whatever the voltage you are supplying here input, that will be converted into a constant voltage supply of 5 volt. That 5 volt will goes into this microcontroller. Okay, and if you are using a USB as a power supply, then the USB will give direct 5 volt into this IC, and this voltage regulator will get bypass. Okay, and here is the 16 megahertz crystal. In the Arduino board, they are using 16 megahertz frequency, not an issue, but you can use even 20 megahertz also if it is available, and it will work little faster than the what is been designed. Okay, and this IC is a 6 mega 16 IC, and this IC is used for downloading the program from the laptop into this microcontroller. So this microcontroller is 328 series, and this is 16 series, and you can use this microcontroller for downloading. So this board can be retained for any production, and you can use this board for that, but you don't require this for production, but you can use only in the development stage. Okay, this is a reset button for if anything goes wrong in your controller and you want to reset it from the beginning to work it, then you can reset the microcontroller and using this reset button. Okay, then you have a in circuit USB pin here. Here also you have one in circuit USB pin where you can transfer the data into this microcontroller without using this IC. So if there is a failure of this IC, and don't get panic, you can still program this microcontroller using the ICSP pin. You have an additional ICSP pin here also, which is the same as this ICSP pin, and this is also can be used as a programming pin. So either this one or this one you can use, but it is an additional pin provided in the board. Okay, and now this is a capacitor, and this capacitor is an electrolytic capacitor for filtering any ripple input coming from the input voltage. Either it is coming from the USB, or either it is coming from the power supply. These two capacitor will filter any ripple contents into the power supply which is going to the microcontroller. Here you can see a small capacitor which is will be 0.1 microfarad capacitor, and this capacitor is very important. It's a ceramic capacitor which will be connecting across the reset pin and the ground pin. And this capacitor is very important because any filter with the reset button, or in any ripple is present during the reset button, it will filter out by this. So without this this reset button may not work properly during the operation. So this is also one of the critical component which is required along with this microcontroller. Okay, and let's this microcontroller usually works by giving power supply, correct? A 5-volt power supply is required. So all the 5-volt power supply will be either coming from this 12-volt DC power supply, or it can be coming from the USB. At the same time, whatever the power supply you are getting here, you can also tap using this particular pin available here. Why this pin is very important is sometimes you will be connecting n numbers of module for development purpose. So during the module connection with this microcontroller, you should be able to supply power to the module. So for that reason, this is the tapping the power from this particular region. And this V in, what is this V in? This V in is the input voltage. If you are taking the power supply through the USB, this V in will be equal to 5 volt. But if you are taking the power supply from the volt input side, then this B in will be equal to the same voltage what you supplied here. If it is 12 volt, this B in will become 12 volt. But if it is USB, B in will be 5 volt. Okay, now this is the power section which you can tap for any module connected to the microcontroller. And this reason is the analog input. This analog input, you can use any kind of analog module. There are a lot of modules are available where the output is analog. So those output can be directly fit into here and use this microcontroller to convert those analog data into digital data, and you can utilize and it everything. So like if you want to read analog signal from a temperature sensor, or it can be from any humidity sensor, you can read all those analog signal and convert it into digital by using the microcontroller. This 5 analog pin is multiplexed with SD and ACL pin, where this is the serial data collection. If the output of any module is serial data, then you will be using this A4 and A5. Similarly, this A4 and A5 is parallelly also available here in this pin. It is an extra pin. So if all this pin is used for analog and you want to use an additional pin for serial data, you can still use here. It is a multiplex pin. Okay, and at the same time, the Arduino will have an LED, an on-board LED, to check for any programming development time. Then this is connected in pin number 13. Either the pin number 13 you can take out as a output, or either this pin number 13 will be parallelly connected to one LED. Okay, and in this you will be having the same SPI connection detail, like serial clock, master in, slave out, and master out, slave in, and slave select. All this 4 pin is also multiplex with this 6 pin here. So this pin is parallelly connected. At the same time, this pin also can be used for as a digital input output communication. So how many digital output communication is had? It has 0 to 13. That means 14 digital input output pin is available. So you can read digital, you can take digital. And there are some marking is available here, and extract type here it is marking. This marking available are pins dedicated for analog signal. That means you can take PWM signal out from this particular pin. So how many PWM you can generate from this board is 1 2 3 4 5 6. So 6 PWM signal can be generated from this board. Okay, and the down below here in 0 and the 1, you have seen one TXD and RXD. There is the receiving data and the transmission data, and this protocol is similar to RS-232. So any communication protocol method of RS-232 communication you want to do here without using any IC or any MAX232 IC is not required to connect the serial data transmission into this microcontroller. So you can directly connect here without any extra component. Okay, and the pin number 2 and the 3 is the interrupt pin, which is this interrupt pin is a hard interrupt pin. So it means if you want to interrupt this IC during its operation time, when the IC is totally working in a infinite loop, and you want to interrupt that infinite loop, come out of the infinite loop and do some operation, some critical operation, and you want to interrupt that infinite operation, then you can use this pin number 2 and pin number 3 for any infinite loop can be broken down by using this pin number 2 and 3. That is why it is called as an interrupt pin. So it is all about the details here. Now I have told you that the details about this development board. Now how this development board can be used with many applications. There I have already shown you in my previous video that there are so many sensors. About 37 sensors can be connected to this board. So it means any sensors which having a capacity of giving the information by digital or giving the information by analog can be directly connected to this board without any interface. So it can be directly connecting here without using any component interfacing, and you can even take out the signal from here and interface to the any external module without any interfacing. That also can be done. So any digital input and analog input is possible in this application. So anything you can do with any communications like this. There are additional miscellaneous communications you can do, like say you can do TCP IP communication, and you can make this board into networking. So I will do one video on how to make the Arduino as a server, web server, and you can access this Arduino through your my mobile phone. That also can be done using TCP IP communication method with this microcontroller. So this is one of the special application that can be done in Arduino. Now what is the production component required from this particular development board? The four critical component required in during the production of this board is this one IC. Okay, this IC, this Atmega 328 is one important one. Second one, this capacitor of 0.1 microfarad ceramic capacitor, and this 16 megahertz crystal, and this reset button. This four component is mandatory required for this any production board. Okay, and if you want to do any debugging on the production board, then you need to have the 6 pin which is connected to the pin required for in circuit programming and in circuit debugging. So if you want to do anything debugging due to any fault, or you want to realize what's going on, then you have to use this. So this is optional, either you want or you don't want, is up to you. And the another optional is this capacitor. This capacitor will be depending on what type of power you are going to use. If you are using a power supply and directly feeding into this as a 5 volt, then you don't need this capacitor. Why? Because this capacitor will be available in the power supply itself. And if you are using a normal SMPS available in the market just to plug and play with this, then you need to have these four components for sure. That means for plugging you need to have this jack and this power jack, and you need to have this voltage regulator of 5 volt voltage regulator, and you want to have these two capacitor for filter purpose. So this is mandatory required for any power supply. So this is optional. If you are going to use 5 volt direct connection, then this is optional. But if you are going to use a power supply of 12 volt, then this is mandatory again. So it is up to you how you design your board. So I have already discussed you all the details required for the production, as well as what are the applications that you can do it in this microcontroller, and the details of all the pins and related queries on the microcontroller. If you want to know more details about it, please share your details in the comment box, and please like this video and share it in your social media network, and also please subscribe this channel and click the bell icon to get more updates about the new video. So thank you guys, thank you very much. Bye bye, have a nice day.